Hello, welcome to a very hot Monday's Knots Today. I'm Al Booth. I hope you're well. Hope you had a lovely weekend as well. This is what's coming up for you. We're going to be hearing Nottingham's views about what can be done to clean up the city streets. That's after the launch of a new Love Your City campaign.
I think it wants going back to how it used to be, the people dropping stuff all over the place, and the shops, the empty shops are all looking dirty, and everything needs to be put back as it was.
We'll have more on that shortly, and we'll be talking about a new University of Nottingham study into children's understanding of multiplication tables. The research has shone a light on the need for more than just speed recall, where pupils are learning their times tables, and it's also looking at what different methods could be used to aid learning. We'll hear more about that shortly. And staying with schools, we'll hear how students are being positively empowered with wellbeing techniques. From Positively Empowered Kids is back on the sofa later to talk more about her assemblies and a roadshow event she's doing in Newark next month. It's all about wellbeing with kids. It's a very good thing. And this weekend as well, we were also at the official launch of the Nottingham Open tennis tournament, and we caught up with comedian Jason Manford ahead of the first serve on Sunday.
I think for kids in this sort of modern day, where if they're not good at something in 25 seconds, they're right, I'm not doing it. This feels like the closest you're going to come to something they could pick up and play.
And that's going to kick off our sports, which also features reaction after an impressive Vitality Blast victory for the Notts Outlaws.
The biggest thing was, such a team collective effort. I think, the way that we bowled on, what was an unbelievable wicket. I think the lads did, so well.
There you go, we've got all that and loads more coming up just for you today. First then, you might need your calculator for this bit, because new research from the University of Nottingham has been conducting more research on how children retain and apply knowledge of multiplication tables. A study found the current assessment of times table knowledge, which is the MTC test, has increased year on year, but experts are calling the test's impact into question, believing it may be sacrificing children's enjoyment of the subject for achievement. Well, here to tell us more is research lead Professor Lucy Cragg. The main news there is that people enjoy it in the first place, but not everyone was like me. What is the MTC test?
So the MTC is the multiplication tables check. So it's a standardised test, so a test that all children have to do in year 4 at school, so when they're 8 or 9 years old. And it's 25 times tables questions, so between tables between 1 and 12, and the children have 6 seconds to answer the questions. So it's designed to be how well they know their times tables. So
it'd be something, I'm not asking you this, Dora, it'd be something like, what is 8 times 12, what is 7 times 4, that sort of thing. You've got 6 seconds to get in there.
Yes, and it's done on a computer or a tablet, and the children type their answers in.
Okay, that's giving me palpitations just thinking about doing that. So this is fairly new, isn't it? It came in fairly recently.
Yeah, so the idea was floated before COVID, and obviously then COVID happened, so from 2022, that's when children have been doing it every year.
And how does it work? I mean, in terms of like the results, how does it work? How is it working out?
So the scores on the MTC are getting better as kind of schools and teachers and parents are kind of working out what they need to do in terms of to help children know and learn their times tables, which is great, but we're not seeing an increase in their wider mathematics skills. So that the idea is that if children know their times tables, if they can recall those facts from memory rather than having to work it out, then that frees up their kind of mental workspace to do more complicated maths, which should help them in maths more broadly. But we're not seeing that play out. So in the year 6 test, the SATs that children do, those scores aren't increasing in the same way that the year 4 times tables ones are.
And why is that? Is that because it is just a case of repetition and the answer just comes without the working out, like you said?
Yeah, so the recall is really important. It's really important that children recall those facts, but that doesn't automatically mean that they can then apply them, say. So you might know that 5 times 4 is 20, but you might not, if you had a question like you and 4 friends have each got 4 sweets each, how many have you got altogether? You might not be able to apply those numbers, that fact that you know, to answer that question in a broader context.
Right, I get you. Okay, so what's your research looking at? What have you been doing?
So we've done 2 different strands of research. So both of them, we've given children a kind of test like the MTC that children do, so they've got to recall their facts quite quickly, but then we've also given them a test that asks their times tables knowledge in lots of other ways, so to drawing pictures or answering word problems, and we find that even if children do very well on just knowing those numbers, that doesn't necessarily translate to being able to do better on applying that knowledge. So that's one strand.
Okay.
And the other one we've been doing is looking at different ways to help children practice their times tables that might help them to achieve that.
So what, in terms of that then, because my son's 7, we were just saying this off air, so he'll be doing this next year, and I got an E in maths, and then I retook it and I got an F. So I'm not the person to help him. So any help is great. So what sort of methods have you been taking on then?
So I guess the most important message is that any type of times tables practice you do is helpful. So in our study, we had 200 children from schools across Nottingham, and we took in a set of laptops, little tablets, and we had 4 different games that they could play. So 2 of them, it gave them a times tables question, they had to type in the answer. 2 of them, it was a multiple choice question, so they had the question and then 4 different options to choose from. And 1 of each of those they had to do under time pressure, and the other 2 were not under time pressure. So children did one of those 4 different versions of the game, and we actually found no matter which one they did, children all of them improved their times tables knowledge. And I think it doesn't have to be computerised, whatever different way you can to get children just to recall those facts, even if they're just working it out to start with. Every time you practice getting that answer, that's making those important connections that you need in the brain, and slowly over time those connections become strong enough that then when you're asked 4 times 5 you can just go 20 straight away.
Okay, so what's next then for you?
So we want to look more into this link between, if you know your facts, if you know the numbers, then how do you then apply that in something like a word problem. So we're doing more research and hopefully working with lots of organisations to try and think, well, how can we then help children in that next step so that they can't just recall the problem, but they can apply it as well.
That's brilliant. Well, when you find out the answer, can you let me know, preferably before next year? That'd be great.
Will do.
Thank you. Right, moving on now, we are going to revisit a new council project that is aimed at cleaning up Nottingham. The Love Your City Centre campaign was launched by Nottingham City Council early this month, all as part of a plan to improve pride in our city. The Day of Action in Hockley has seen parts of the area repainted and local businesses visited by council officials as well to hear all about their concerns. But a recent story that we aired on social media led to a mixed response from viewers about what needs to be done to restore pride in Nottingham. So we've been asking you what you think.
I think it's even cleaner than most places I've been to. And you always see like those mini machines like taking rubbish and stuff like that. But no, compared to a lot of places, it's very clean. Very clean.
Some places are very clean and neatly. Some places like in some NG7 and they do like some post yard, they are not clean. Well, but they're dealing very good and quiet manner, and they are cleaning everything in right time.
It's not as clean as it was when I was younger. I think it wants going back to how it used to be. The people dropping stuff all over the place, and the shops, the empty shops are all looking dirty, and everything needs to be put back as it was.
Probably more policing, more policemen on the beat, walking around, more deterrent. But I don't really think they can do anything, because if you look at all the big cities, the problems are the same.
I think they're doing the best that they can, I think they're trying to improve it. It's taken a long time.
For a big city, I think it's okay, but there's always a lot of mess. I think Nottingham's got a load of potential, but hasn't got enough investment. So some investment in the buildings could be really good. There's a horrible parking needs to be knocked down.
Well, look at Broadmarsh. It's been derelict for many, many years. I think that's disgusting. They should have done something with it many years ago, because we pay rates.
Well, Nottingham City Council says it's committed to addressing rising concerns about begging, rough sleeping, antisocial behaviour and environmental issues like fly tipping and litter in the city. It says the new campaign is aimed at addressing these changes. Now, in other Notts News headlines, and police have issued a damning message to a rapist who lied about his offences after he was sent to prison. 41-year-old Daniel Kennington always denied forcing himself and his victim at his home on Lodge Farm Lane in Redhill. Police have said that meant his victim was forced to relive the ordeal all over again. Kennington was found guilty of rape following a 3-day trial at Nottingham Crown Court, which concluded last Friday. He was sentenced that same day to 4 years and 9 months in jail. Police are urging parents to talk to their children after reports of a group trespassing at a former Newark school site. Nottinghamshire Police say they've received several reports at the abandoned old Newark High School site on London Road, and it involved youths breaking into the building and causing damage. Other reports include them scaling the unsafe fragile roof despite warning signs for safety and asbestos. The force says parents should warn their children about the potential dangers of trespassing in buildings like this. And a shoplifter who targeted a Sherwood store 17 times across 2 weeks has been locked up. 32-year-old Jamie Kilburn brazenly walked into the Sainsbury's local on Mansfield Road and filled his pockets or a bag with items without paying for them. He did it across a 2-week period, often returning to the shop several times a day. He was arrested after CCTV searches. Kilburn of Jenner Street in Carrington was jailed for 28 weeks in Nottingham Magistrates Court after admitting to 20 counts of shop theft last week. Now, still to come on the show, we're going to be finding out how kids are being positively empowered, something to do with underpants, and also we're going to be heading to the official launch of this year's Nottingham Open Tennis. Hello, welcome back to Monday's show. I'm Al Booth. I hope you're well, enjoying the sunshine. This is what's happening in Notts today. Tram services have returned to normal in Nottingham after communication problems led to the entire network being temporarily halted. Operator NET sent its trams back to depots on Sunday evening and then cancelled services due to technical problems, which meant the control room couldn't communicate with drivers. That led to some rush hour disruption on Monday, and several morning services were cancelled today. However, regular services had resumed across the network by this afternoon, so that's all good. And police divers in Notts have recovered a rusty bell from the River Trent, which once was used on a boat transporting kerosene and petrol up the river. Nottinghamshire Police search teams recovered the bell, which was linked to a barge originally built in the 1950s for Esso Nottingham, during a routine dive in the river in April. The craft was used to transport fuel up the river to Colic until it retired. The force say John H. Whittaker Tankers, which owned the barge, was contacted after the discovery and it has been returned. Now, time for our next guest, and we are talking about literal travelling pants. Claire Clements helped set up Positively Empowered Kids, and she's been taking her book, Put Your Positive Pants On, across Notts schools to help give kids a more optimistic outlook, or when it comes to dealing with everyday challenges of growing up. And here she is to tell us all about it. Welcome.
Hi.
So how's the book going then? Because you came on the show before when it launched, and then now you're taking it into schools?
I'm taking it into schools, yeah. The book's gone really well. People are really enjoying it, getting lots of sales of the book. But for me, obviously it goes into the home and you don't necessarily see the outcome. You don't necessarily get the feedback. So the idea of taking it into schools is that actually I can actually read the story to an entire school's worth of children, Key Stage 1 and 2 children, and really get that interaction and really elaborate on some of the little themes that are in the book to hopefully give them some wellbeing techniques that they can actually implement themselves.
Remind us what the story is there.
Yeah, so it's the story of a little girl who wakes up one day. She's feeling a little bit sad, as we all do at times. Often the teachers put their hands up when I ask the question of who wakes up feeling sad. But yeah, so she wakes up feeling sad. Her and her mum throughout the day basically do lots of different activities. So some mindful activities, some sort of physical activity, some creative things, in an attempt to show the little girl in the book that she can empower herself by improving her own mood, by doing things for herself, a message that I want all children to learn.
Yeah, it's important, isn't it? And it's hard to find creative ways to get that message, because I've got 5 and 7-year-old. It's hard to get that message across in a way that isn't just telling them as well.
Yeah, that no kid wants to be lectured.
No,
they want to be
absolutely
engaged
not.
and learn it for themselves almost, but with a little bit of guidance.
Yeah. So what's the reaction when you go into schools? What the kids saying? It's got pants in the title.
It's
so
got pants. Do you know what? It's a winner straight away, because they come into assembly. We play the Positive Pants song as they're coming in. So some of them start sort of having a little jiggle about. So you start to see the smiles spread when they see Positive Pants up on the wall. And then I've got my props of the actual pants and things. So, it smiles all round. We get them sort of active in the assembly as well, doing things, engaging. And the feedback's really good. So, yeah, it's going really well.
So what else have you got lined up then? What's coming up over the summer?
So lots of things. So with Positively Empowered Kids, so I've got Positive Pants and Positively Empowered Kids I'm now ambassador for. We are running our second Community Fun Day in Newark. And that is on the 12th of July. So really looking forward to that. And the great thing about that is we're trying to sort of weave the wellbeing message again amongst the fun that's going on. But the really special thing about it is we're actually working with the Year 5 children who are actually helping to co-organise and co-create the event themselves, so they feel a real sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, because there's such a variation between going in reception, like you say, Key Stage 1, and then the Key Stage 2 areas where you get up to Year 5, Year 6, where kids are a bit cooler.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And actually the reason we did it with Year 5 is often Year 6 get to do things, but obviously they're doing their SATs, so they've got pressures themselves. If we do it with the Year 5s, and this is what happened last year, it means that the sort of the outcomes of the event, so they raise money for the school, for example, that they got to spend in the school, the actual Year 5s get to see it the following year, and then get to maybe help the next lot of Year 5s to do it. So it's quite a special little programme that we've got running there, but it's really great, and the kids are so engaged in it.
And that gives them a sense of achievement, isn't it? Doesn't it? Which is then helps with the well-being.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's been great because it's really helped us to engage the community in it as well. So we've had obviously some great sponsors and donations for the event. We've got Briony, we've got Middlebeck Newark, we've got Total Aggregates. They've all donated to the cause because they can see the impact it's having on the children. Which obviously ticks their boxes, but in terms of being seen in the community and supporting the young people, it's just really, really important. And it's great to find local businesses that want to support that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us about the cards you've got as well.
Yeah, so these are a new thing. These are Positive Mindset cards.
Okay.
So there's 33 activities in here. So each one has got an affirmation on the front. So that one says, I am a good friend, I am doing great, I am amazing, just lovely messages to start your day. And then on the reverse side, you've got a wellbeing activity on every single card.
Okay.
So these are things that in the holidays, or even if you've just got 10 minutes after school, your child can go through and pick out an activity. You can pick a random one. And they're just little activities. They don't cost anything to do. They're all things that you've got lying around the house.
Okay.
Some are
That's always
physical
handy.
for the kids that want to kind of need to be sort of physical and use up the energy. Some are creative, some are very mindful and quiet. So a real good spread.
Just a reminder, when your Newark community event is?
The Newark event is the 12th of July.
Brilliant.
So not long now.
No. Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for coming in. Now, as you probably already know, the Nottingham Open tennis tournament started yesterday. Nottingham Tennis Centre's become home to champion players who have a bit of a pre-Wimbledon boost this week. Ahead of the action, it opened its doors to families and fans on Saturday at their opening event with the aim of getting more people involved in the sport. Lucy Marshall went along.
Whether you're a tennis pro or a total beginner, this weekend's Family Fun Day at the Nottingham Tennis Centre was open to everyone. The event was a chance for the local community to grab a racket, enjoy a hit with friends and family, and take advantage of coaching clinics and have-a-go sessions. The event also featured some famous faces, including comedian Jason Manford, who went along to get Nottingham's youngsters involved in the UK's fastest growing sport, paddle.
Paddle's one of those sports that most people are new at because it is a newish sport. And so it's, I think for kids in this sort of modern day where if they're not good at something in 25 seconds, I'm not doing it. This feels like the closest you're going to come to something they could pick up and play. Yeah, fastest growing sport in the world. with ideas of getting it to the Olympics at some point as well. So, you know, it's definitely something that, you know, a lot of sports are so difficult for kids if they're not already good at something. You know, football's, if you're 12, 13, you're not already half decent at football. It's tough. Same with rugby, same with cricket, same with tennis. You know.
The Open is set to take place until Sunday the 22nd of June, with big names like Katie Boulter and Jacob Fernley looking to defend their titles. The event aimed to break down the perception that tennis is an elitist sport, and it was definitely a big hit with visitors.
I've been going around doing challenges and it's been really fun. Really excited to look and play in the paddle courts, and it looks like a really good atmosphere to be around.
Throwing the balls at the bullseye. Watching Jodie play.
Yeah. It's active fun, it's affordable fun, and it brings the community together, doesn't it?
Good for the community, good for children. My daughter plays here, and she's also one of the ball girls here, so it's a progression route for us.
The weather's great, there's loads of families down here, really great atmosphere. We've seen a few of the players, and we're really excited to give paddle a try.
As the grass court season officially hit centre court, these friends and family certainly had a ball at Nottingham's opening event. Lucy Marshall for Notts TV.
Right, let's stay with sport then, and we'll start with cricket. It was a mixed weekend for the Notts Outlaws. They picked up a loss and a win in the Vitality Blast. They started with a defeat to Derbyshire at Trent Bridge on Friday. Peter Moores, the head coach, says they were off the pace all evening, but they made up for it with an impressive victory over the Bears at Edgbaston, chasing down 200 thanks to 74 runs from 33 balls by Tom Moores. Afterwards, he said it was an unbelievable effort by the Outlaws.
Only chase over 200. It's not quite probably sunk in yet. Just living off the fact that we've got over the line, it felt a bit of a momentum shifting game for us. We've had a bit of a couple of tough games. Things haven't gone our way, so it was nice to do that at a ground like Edgbaston. It was a real nice feeling to be there, and personally to be there at the end was a great feeling. The biggest thing was such a team collective effort. I think the way that we bowled on what was an unbelievable wicket. I think the lads did so well in the power play up front. Some real tough overs there from the spinners.
And the Blaze chased down their record run chase as they secured victory over Durham in the Blast. Tammy Beaumont starred in the record-breaking chase, which saw them reach their 188-run target with 81 runs from 44 balls in the second wicket partnership with Catherine Bryce. That put the pair a combined 118 runs between them and continues the side's fine form in the Blast this season. In netball, Nottingham Forest ended their inaugural Super League campaign with a big win over Leeds Rhinos. Chelsea Pitman's side secured a 80-61 point win at the Motorpoint Arena on Sunday. That levelled off their win and loss record for their first ever season in the competition, meaning they picked up 7 wins and losses across the campaign and finished on a positive goal difference as well. Right, picture of the daytime now. We're not the only ones starting our week at a snail's pace, because it's a snail. Look, Steve Plavinsky took that snail. Yeah. Now for your weather, we've got sunny skies, we've got very warm days. I would say hot even. Today, highs of 26, dropping to 13 overnight. Tomorrow, nothing but sunshine and highs of 25. And then you can repeat that on Wednesday. And to be honest, that's pretty much as cool as it gets, because as we get towards the weekend, it gets a lot hotter. Make sure you've got that suntan lotion. It's not called that. It was called that in the 80s. Forget what it's called now. Mark Dennison's with you tomorrow. Sunscreen, there you go. Have a good night. Bye-bye.